there's a lot of merit to art as activism, and
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I mean, I think that like people can think about that. Activism doesn't necessarily have to be you go to a protest, you hold a bullhorn. I was going to say you hold a bullpen. You hold a bullhorn. You chant like
Well,
it could be. You can create art that inspires people or influences people, and that I think is so
yes.
so impactful. So whatever talents you already have, try to use those for the animals or for whatever cause that you champion.
Yeah, and you have a vegan bit in your stand-up. I've seen it. Is that one that you deliver regularly? I mean, you do joke about the whole vegan stuff, don't you?
Oh yeah, I always am trying to work veganism into my set. And that's why my stage name is Diana the Vegan. I don't hide
Yeah.
it at all. Um
So
I
when they introduce you, they're like, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Diana the vegan."
Yeah, yeah. And then I immediately go and I'm like, I'm Diana the Vegan, but don't worry, I'm not gonna stand up here and do a bunch of jokes about vegans. Like I go right into it. Um
Ah,
eh, because they never kill. That's the punchline. But
I like it. That's not a bad punchline. Vegans don't kill.
and then, like I think of comedy like a needle. Like it's so thin. It's going into your brain and it's injecting my ideas into your brain. But if it's
Hmm.
funny enough, then it's going to be a very thin needle, so thin that you don't even notice it's going in.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. There's a sexual joke there that I don't want to make, but yes, there's a.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe don't. Yeah.
They don't even realize it's so small. It's
Don't
so
ruin my
small a
needle
joke
analogy.
that they don't even realize. No, I think you're totally right. I think that that's something that musicians talk about. That's something that a lot of comedies, a lot of novelists, a lot of artists will talk about how all of the artifice of art is there so that I can get the idea in the other way. You know what I mean? Like it lowers your barriers so that I can get into your brain. Um,
Yeah.
it's almost like that movie Inception, except good, and you know.
Wow, we're coming for Christopher Nolan. Damn.
Oh my God, you're right. It's another Christopher Nolan thing. Yes, it's all right. His movies are wonderful spectacles, and I think that that's fantastic. I don't mind
I
liking
was
bad
born
things.
in the veganism.
I was,
Sorry, that's
I, you,
it's not even like doesn't even make sense.
you like veganism, but I was born here.
Oh no.
I was
Oh.
raised in it. Yes.
There's no like you
Of
can't you can't
course.
you can't what's the quote from Inception? It's just like who's in that movie? I don't
I
even know
bought
who's in
I
that
bought
movie.
the bank. Doesn't he
Huh?
say that? I bought the bank.
Who's
Then he
in that
buys the
movie?
bank, right?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in
Um,
that.
yes, Watanabe. I forget his first name, but
No one
Ben
who like
Watanabe,
you
I
can
think.
do an impression of, you know what I'm saying?
Not without being an unspeakable racist, because even Elliot, because there's a guy with a thick Japanese accent in it. You can't make
Oh,
fun of
I
him.
see. I see. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then
Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, whatever his name is, can't really
Yeah.
do that. Elliot,
Oh, he's boring. Paige, yes.
Elliot Page.
Yeah.
That's a minefield you don't want to go
Yeah.
anywhere near.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like, there's nothing you can make fun of except for Leo and Leonardo DiCaprio. Like,
He's so boring.
he's kind of boring. He just plays a rich
Yeah.
scam artist. That's his whole
That's what I'm
thing,
saying.
right?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
this show anti-Inception, anti-Christopher Nolan.
I like Christopher Nolan. He does
Mhm.
interesting films that like mess with time. He takes like one of the most handsome men in Hollywood, arguably like just one of the most handsome people in Hollywood, and he keeps putting him in movies where only you can only see his eyes.
Wait,
And
who's the most handsome man in Hollywood?
one of them, I think Tom Hardy is like one of the.
Oh.
good-looking
Okay.
guys of
Yeah.
Hollywood. He was Handsome Dan in Rock and Rolla. They called him Handsome Dan. He played
Yeah.
the young Jean-Luc Picard, the clone of Jean-Luc Picard,
Yeah. No,
Patrick Stewart.
I can get behind Tom Hardy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, or he'll get behind anyway.
I
So
would.
like, but every time Nolan puts a movie with him in it, like, have you seen Dunkirk? Tom
No.
Hardy's in that whole movie, and he's got a mask on where you can only see his eyes because he's a pilot. And then they puts him in the Batman movie, and he puts him in the Bane mask, of course.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
it's like this guy is again a handsome guy, and then he gets finally as almost a joke. They put him in the Mad Max movies,
Yeah.
give him no lines, and for like the first half of the movie, he's got a mask over
Got
his
the
face.
mask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what the
He
hell?
just that's just his thing now.
Yeah, he's like it's like Tom Cruise is running. Like if you
Mm.
put Tom Cruise in a movie, he's got to like run really fast and ride a
Mhm.
motorcycle.
Mhm.
And Brad Pitt has to eat all the time when he's in a movie. Like it's a thing. There are these
Oh.
things that they do.
Mhm.
And Tom Hardy has to have his face covered except for his eyes. He's basically in a burqa in every movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Mm. He's getting old
The
now
Tenet
though, so
soundtrack.
huh? Oh. I have not seen Tenet. I'm sorry.
Don't.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's Christopher Nolan, but it's like he thinks Casey thinks Tenet is better than
I think you're
what?
anti-Chris Nolan here. Like, it seems like
Tenet's definitely his worst movie. Actually, when Christopher Nolan and his brother Jonathan Nolan work together, it's fucking magic. And so you get things like Insomnia, you get Inception, you get what's the one with the spaceman with Matthew McConaughey?
oh, I
Goes to
know.
space.
Oh,
Interstellar.
Interstellar. Oh,
Yeah, he goes to Interstellar.
got it.
That's a
Yes.
good one,
A lot of
right?
I films, huh?
Oh yeah, and also always one word.
Yeah.
Insomnia or Memento is a masterpiece. It's their first movie
Memento's
together,
good.
right? So, but then,
Interstellar overrated.
really, you didn't like it? I liked it.
It's fine.
Oh, I mean Oppenheimer. I mean that was great. I mean he's good.
I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. I saw Barbie.
You went for Barbie. I knew you
Yeah.
were going to say that. I saw Barbie. Like that's
I saw
anybody,
Barbie. I saw
anyone who
Barbie.
hasn't seen Oppenheimer, they're like,
And it's a masterpiece.
I had to see. I had to see. Barbie's the masterpiece.
Yeah.
Of course, that Gerwig or what's her name, Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a she's a director.
She's great. But I've heard Oppenheimer is good. I'll see it eventually.
I mean, you seem to be a huge Nolan fan, so you might.
Big Nolan fan.
It was made for the IMAX, so maybe
It's
around
like it's also too long. Like I don't know if I can sit still for 4 hours or whatever.
you don't like to like binge. What kind of pop art do you like to consume? What kind of pop culture do you like to consume? Like true crime podcasts or something?
No, I do like to binge TV shows. You
So
got
four
me
hours
there.
at a time.
You
Yeah,
got me there. You
kind of
got me
figured.
there.
Yeah. So what's like your binge worthy TV that you're into right now?
Oh, I right now I'm watching The Boys on Amazon.
Oh, the superheroes. Yeah,
Yeah, so good.
that's pretty good. Yeah, with
Yeah.
the anti corporatocracy
It's
vibe.
not there's a lot of scenes that aren't very vegan friendly though, so be warned.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. It gets a bit Trumpy. How far are you into it?
I just finished season 2.
Oh, so only one more, right? There's three. I think there
There's
are
3
three out.
out now, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're making one more, right? And then they've got all the spin-offs now too, which I haven't gotten into. There's like
Yeah.
the boys universe now, and they've got other.
Yeah. It's so good though. It's like if Marvel, like if the Avengers were real, it's like
Mm,
this is what they would really be like in modern day America,
yeah, yeah, and
commentary.
I like the way they kind of make it how America makes it like it's cool. Like look how cool they are. In the back, it's like all this evil shit's happening. That's how I feel like Mickey Mouse is. Like everyone loves Mickey, right? And people line up for all that Disney shit. I never understand it. All these, especially vegans that are really into vegan shit, they're really into Disney shit, and I'm always like,
Yeah.
they have horses at Disneyland going around in a circle all day long,
I
and you're
know. And I went to Disneyland without knowing that. And then I saw the horse, like the horse-drawn carriages, and I was like, I wish I hadn't come here because this is depressing.
that happened to me because I didn't want to go to Disneyland because I thought, I don't want to see the fucking horses. And I used to work at Disneyland. And I was like, I don't want to see the horses. It pisses me off. I won't be able to be. I'm not going to have a good time. So my girlfriend wanted to go to a thing though, like a theme park. I'm not really a big fan of these places that corral you in. Like, now have fun, everybody. You know, like I don't know. It's such a weird concept to me. Everyone pay to get into this area.
Yeah, where
And now
you're
you're where
in a
you're
big
waiting in line.
crowd and ugh,
Yes. And like all these kids in cages being pushed around, and like it's all just a mess. Let's all
yeah.
celebrate our filth together and
Mm.
eat garbage food, and like it's just horrible. Anyway,
Yeah. You must love New York City.
big fan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
who doesn't love visiting New York? You know,
Yeah.
like,
I mean, the problem again is the horse-drawn carriages. Like we need to
that's
pass
the
this
problem
bill.
in New York.
There's a bill right now to get the horse carriages banned and replace it with electric carriages, and of course they're not.
Do you think it'll happen?
Ugh, I hope so. I hope so.
Caporos is fun every year in New York. That's always
Yeah.
a fun time.
That's the one that like I do every year for like the last 6 years.
Oh,
Like I make
really?
sure I do it. Yeah, yeah. Because I feel like I don't know. It's something about it, like being there, being able to feed the watermelon. People are gonna have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, but being able to feed the watermelon to the
Sure, we had
chickens.
a rabbi on last week, and we
Oh,
talked
you
about Kapora.
did?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
had
so
Rabbi Rick on. He's vegan, and we had him on the show, and we talked about Kaporos, and we talked
I'm
about
glad.
kind of the right wing of the Jewish faith and community.
And
How
he was pro Caporos, pro right.
no,
Okay.
of course not. I
No,
wouldn't have
really
him on the show.
interesting.
No, that would have been weird. Um, so you're into it? No, the chickens and the whole thing? Who are these people?
That'd be a short conversation.
Yeah, right. I mean, Seinfeld's Jewish. How does he feel about Kaporos in Brooklyn? Or it's in Brooklyn, right?
Mostly, yeah.
It's fucking horrible. Anyway, people know what you're talking about. The Kaporos every year. The Kaporot, I think, is what the noun
Mhm.
version is. They
Yeah, it's right before Yom Kippur, and it's like a whole
Mhm.
ritual where they slaughter a bunch of chickens and do a ritual with them, and it's horrible.
Right. They first they roll them around their head, swing around their heads, then they
Yeah,
kill them.
yeah.
And sometimes they're injured before they like they because the wings and all this stuff. It's really
Yeah,
nasty.
they're kept in these horrible conditions on the street, like public streets, and like a lot of them just die before they can even do the ritual. So it's just really, really, really inhumane. Like even violating like the few animal rights laws that are in place for
Hmm.
like, livestock animals,
Yeah.
even those terrible conditions that they're allowed to be in, it's like worse than
Yeah.
that.
Right. Yeah. It breaks the law on very many levels. Public sanitation,
Yes.
animal welfare. It's breaking existing laws, and they're not enforced because of the community that is doing them. Um, what are you talking about with the watermelon thing, though? That is something I did not hear.
Oh, yeah. So every year, we go because they're kept in public, like on public sidewalks, you can just go right up to the chickens, and a lot of them are being neglected. So we just give them watermelon because it's a good way to hydrate them and to feed them. A lot of them, like, so at some sites they will, feed them like bread and water and stuff, but at some sites they just kind of leave them out there all day long with no food or water. So we go and we give them watermelon.
Ugh. What time of year is Yom Kippur again?
It's usually September, I think.
So it's getting cold in New York in September, right? It's still
Yeah, yeah. It's awful. I mean, because they leave them out there like if it's raining, it's I don't even it's really, really sad. Um,
yeah, it's horrific, and
but
it's an embarrassment that it still goes on in a civilized country.
of course, it's a huge embarrassment to our city, and you know,
So
But
you still go out and do it. You go out there every year for the last
yeah,
6 years, huh?
I mean, it's something that's important to me to do every year. And there are activists who will rescue the birds. So like, especially when
Oh
they
yeah.
are injured or sick, it's really good to have activists there just negotiating with the practitioners and being like, hey, this one's not going to make it. Can we just take him back and, try to take care of him.
Yeah.
So they rescue hundreds of chickens every year. So that's the silver lining, I guess. But definitely we want to end it, and not that we want to end the Jewish practice altogether, but they can use coins instead of chickens, for instance. Um,
Yeah, it was something that I just, talking to Rabbi Rick last week, it was interesting how many he's saying like Reconstructionists, Jews, they don't do that shit. Like there's always an interesting thing with any community. You have like the right wing and the more progressive of your community, and the right wing conservatives are always the ones doing that like meaner old timey shit, and it's something that it's like join the 21st century, that it's
yeah, and who also has a right wing and a left wing is chickens.
it's true they do.
So
If they're lucky enough to make it that
oh
far,
god,
like,
that's so dark.
not for long, not for long. They don't have them for long, but
Mm,
yeah.
I love
I sorry. I mean, we
no,
are
but they're
killing ten.
so sweet. Sorry,
They're
what were
great.
you?
We're killing 10 billion chickens in America every year, and it's something that I'm
Yeah,
constantly having to repeat
yeah,
facts about chickens.
yeah, and they think it's something like 100,000 chickens per Kaporos in Brooklyn alone, um, which is a lot
A
of
lot.
chickens. And
Yeah, I read
these are chickens who, they claim that they're after they do the ritual that they're killing them and feeding them to the poor, but activists have seen a lot of these chickens end up in the garbage, and sometimes
a
they're not
lot.
even
Yeah, I've
fully
seen.
dead.
I've
Like
seen it.
so
The
they can
pile.
get rescued. Yeah, yeah. Like a lot of I've had friends who go out and go to the streets the next day, the day after Koporos, after the
Yeah,
ritual is done, and they'll find still half alive chickens in the garbage, and they'll bring them, if they're lucky they get brought back to life by the veterinary care.
it
um,
seems so wild though. It's like, why wouldn't we have this problem? We have 70 billion chickens are killed every year in the world.
yeah,
70 billion every year. Like their lives have no value, and it's just like the saint today is Sanctity of Life, National Sanctity of Life Day, and I have to say, like, where is the respect for life? 70 billion a year. When you talk about numbers like that, it's just unfathomable. I can't even understand how many people. 70 billion. It's just unbelievable to me.
yeah,
So the
yeah, I
fact that they're
mean,
treated like that should not be surprising, right?
yeah, I
They might as
mean,
well be coins.
I don't even I don't even know how I think it just takes everybody just doing their part, raising awareness, and just trying to contribute to try to end it, because it is a tragedy what's happening to all these animals.